Today we're going to clean up some of this UI. Right now we just have this 1000. It's up in the corner. If we jump into the actual UI scene itself. Now to be fair, I generally make my GUI a singleton. But for the purpose of this little series, I'm going to keep it not a singleton. Now if you remember back when we first created this label here, we went ahead and made this a canvas layer because canvas layers automatically follow the camera. So as our player moves around, we don't have to worry about anything happening with the GUI. It'll just always be on top of the screen. And then I went ahead and put this LBL score in here. And then I moved it off. I want to set this up a little bit better. So let's start with the layout. I'm going to stick with the canvas layer. The first thing I'm going to add is an HBox container. So I'm going to take this, put it inside of the HBox container. No, I said inside of it as a child. I'm going to rename this to score. And I want to put a little icon beside it as well. So I'm going to come in. There's a few ways we can do this. If you haven't noticed yet, all of the GUI stuff's green. So let's take a look for something that can hold a texture. And we have this texture rect right here. So I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to move it on top of the score. And since the score represents how many coins we've collected, I'll just call it coin icon. So now I need to actually find the coin icon and put it in there. So I'm just going to search through here. And I have my HUD coin right here. I have a few others I could use. I'm going to use the HUD coin. And I'll drop it in. And right here, it sets it up for us. One other thing I also like to include, if we take a look, this is right up against the edge. In this instance, it doesn't really matter because the icon had enough spacing around it. But I generally like to add a margin just to make sure everything always stays off the sides. So I'm going to use a margin container. I'm going to take that, make it the topmost child of my GUI. Then I'm going to take this score and drop it in. Now let's take another look here. So I got my canvas. Now my margin container, when I got it selected, we can see it only takes up this little piece. I know I'm going to want to put some stuff over here for the lives. So I'm going to come up here and change our anchor points. Oh, sorry. Nope, this one. I'm going to make it full rect. There we go. But when I do that, it stretches our coin out. I don't want that. So let's come back into score. And then when we open this up, I'm going to say I want it at the top. And I don't want it to be full all the way across. I just want it to be in this one corner. So we'll pick the side here as well. Great. Now I'll select this margin container again. Come over to theme overrides. Let's open it up. And then on the left, let's give 10 pixels all the way around. There we go. And it pushes everything in 10 pixels. So we always have that little border around the screen. Okay, great. We've got this set up. I'm going to duplicate it. And it came out as a child of our other score. So the first one I'll do, I'll call it lives. And I'm going to take it, drag it, and drop it on top of score, which is my bad. It goes inside the margin container. There we go. So I've got the second one called lives, and it takes up the exact same spot as the first one. So I'm just going to shrink these down because we don't care about the inside stuff just yet. I want to come back up here. And for this one, I'm going to say, put it over here. This is the one that's lives. And I want to change the order of the things that are showing in here and also the name. So instead of the coin icon, let's say, I don't know, player icon. Instead of LBL score, we'll do LBL lives. And this shows how many lives are left. And I want to switch the order. I want the icon to be after the number of lives. And I'm actually going to start this off at 0. I just want something there so I can see it, but nothing big. Now we have to change the icon. So let's say we're inside of the HUD. Let's clear this. I'm using the yellow player. Yep, we'll use this. So I'm just going to take this, drag and drop it up over the player icon, and there we go. We've replaced it. So I've got everything set up as far as the way I want it to look. Now I've got to be able to access it through our scripts. So there's two things I want to do. If we look at the script, we're inside of the player one, so extends canvas layer. I was originally using the $ method to reference stuff. And as I move things around, we're going to lose our reference to these objects. Now we learned in an earlier video, we can use something called onReady, not ratty, ready. And I'm going to call this, I don't know, score. It's going to be a type label. And I'll come into score. I'm going to right click, make it unique. So now I can just come in here and say %sign. Notice when I made it unique, or give it a unique name, it had this percent sign. I don't care where it is in the hierarchy anymore. It'll just find it. So as I start typing, there we go. Label score. I'm going to make one more for the lives. So again, on ready, var, score, and it's a type label. And this one is going to be equal to, I'll open up lives. Now, sometimes I'll make the whole thing unique so I can come in and reference it. And if I ever need to change some of these things, I've got a reference to its parent and I can just grab its children. I'm not going to be changing the icon. The only thing I'm ever going to change is the actual label. So I'm just going to make these unique. And I don't think I did it right. LBL. There we go. Now I can come in here and do percent LBL, and we want lives. That means we have to come into here, change this now to score. Likewise, right here, score. I'm going to save it. Everything should function the exact same way as it did before. Difference being, what did I do wrong? I used the same name. This should have been lives. I'll save that one off. We'll run it again. So we've got our layout, looks good. And when I pick up our coins, it should change the value up here. Now we could come in and scale it. It looks a little big, but again, I'll let you play around with that. It is adding them properly for us. But when I go to the next level, it's not there. I'm not worried about that yet. Maybe later on we'll make it a singleton. If not, we can just take this scene, drag and drop it into our level 2, and everything should just go. Okay, I want to hook up this the lives now. So I want to start off with a certain amount of lives, and as the player dies, reduce them. The way I've set this up for the last time, it looks like I was keeping track of all of the data inside of global. So let's just keep doing that. I'm going to come into here. I'm just going to say var lives, which is going to be typed in because we can't have half, and I'll just start it off at 3. So our player gets 3 lives when they start off. Every time they die, I want to subtract 1 from this. Now I've already set up a signal that says update score. And that will specifically update only our score. I'm going to make another that updates only our life counter. Sometimes, depending on how big the UI element is or how complex it is, I'll just have an update UI. And I'll just call that anytime anything changes. With a small enough project, I really don't care about it. Well, let's come in. And I'm going to make another signal. And for this one, I'll say update lives. I'm going to save this off. We really should be passing a parameter through here, but again, we'll keep it simple. It's the intro. And now I'm going to come into player. I want to make sure that he admits it when he dies. So we come down here. This is where we're calling deferred. So we're reloading the scene. And what I want to do is say global dot update lives dot emit. And even before that, I want to make sure I go into global dot lives. And I'm going to do a minus equals 1. So every time we die, we lose a life. Then we're going to call the update function so that our UI updates. And I'm going to leave a little bit of room down here because I am going to have to check to see, are we out of lives? If so, don't respawn our character. Put the game over button up or something like that, or the replay button or something. But we'll save that more towards the end. So let's come back into our UI. And now I need to listen for it. And I need a function for it. So it's very similar to the one we already have. Update. I'm going to call it lives. We do not return anything. And all we want to say is lives.txt is equal to, then we got to convert it to a string because remember it's we're storing it as an int, global dot lives. And then all we have to do is connect to it. And I'm just going to copy our other one, paste it in. We called it update lives and the function update lives. And then I've got this line here, which is just kind of as a precaution, just to make sure that when the game first starts, we set the values to what they're supposed to be. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to take our text, make it equal to, but instead of 0, I essentially want this line. So every time this loads up, it'll grab lives, update it for us. I guess technically we could have just called this function as well. Now, since I usually make it a global, or an auto load as it's called in Godot, I don't really have to worry about the ready part, but we got it anyway. So let's go take a look. Everything should work as intended. And we should have a better looking UI. What other elements are you putting up here? So if I grab, then let's go get killed. I'll jump off the edge. Whoop, and it works. Jump over that. Let's go get killed by one of these things. Did I put them too high? Nope. There we go. So it works. We don't have anything in place for when we run out of lives. We need some sort of game over screen, but that's for a different video. Anyway, that's it for this one. As always, if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.